Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter, writer for Last Word on Sports. I cover the NFL and the Buffalo Bills on Last Word on Sports. Also, I'm a writer for CFLNewsHub.com. I cover the Hamilton Tirecast of the CFL. Here on Football Scientific, we also cover along with the NFL and the CFL, we cover the UFL, IFL, and NAL, okay? And a little bit of college football. Tonight, as we're getting ready, the Seattle Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals are playing right now. Big time NFC West matchup. Seahawks are winning 7-3. Their superior run game will probably lead them to a win. We made a prediction on a short that Seahawks are going to win this game. Pretty sure it's going to happen. And then college football games start week 5. Got Army at East Carolina. And East Carolina winning that game right now. Coming in, I made a short about them winning the game. And they're up 21-0 right now at halftime. So that's pretty good. Our main goal tonight is to go through and share some NFL news that happened today, some CFL transactions, and then talk about our CFL betting guide as we head into week 17 of the CFL season starting tomorrow night. I will also have a Hamilton Tirecast preview article ready. I'm just having it tonight for this video, and I'll have that posted tomorrow, published around noon when the depth charts come out. So that's the plan there. And then, of course, Buffalo Bills play the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, and there will be a preview article for that in Last Word on Sports. So I'm joined by my guest host, Tyler Tiger. Tyler Tiger here, ready to go, ready to talk about football and NFL and CFL and see where it takes us. Sounds fun. I'm happy to be here. We're happy to have you. Okay, all right, so NFL, Cleveland Browns, they play offensive tackle DeWard Jones on the IR, and they signed offensive tackle Thayer Munford Jr. off New England's practice squad. That may have been this morning. It might have been last night. It's been a busy week of football. Several teams are interested in New York Giants linebacker Kayvon Thibodeau. The 49ers, the loss of Nick Bosa, are looking for some kind of pass rusher, and they might be seeing that in Kayvon Thibodeau from the Giants. New York Giants, they have signed former Atlanta Falcons kicker Young-Ho Koo to their practice squad after he got released by the Falcons. New York Jets quarterback Justin Fields has practiced today, but head coach Aaron Glenn is still in the concussion protocol. San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, according to their general manager John Lynch, he's not even close to playing yet. He had an ACL tear last year, but he also had some other damage with it, so it's taken a while for him to recover. Washington Commanders, they have some injuries built up. Some guys I'm waiting to hear back from, Terry McLaurin and Bill Krosky Merritt and really Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels says he's feeling good. I don't think they're going to start him. I started Sam Darnold for my fantasy team tonight, so that's the only Seahawk I have on my fantasy team, and I picked him up last week. We got our first win of the season, so it's good energy, But Terry McLaurin, Bill Krosky Merritt, they need them to really get going. But do they need them this week? I don't know. They're playing the Falcons, I believe, so I think they can get the win without them. I haven't looked at the week's games yet, so maybe not. Okay, all right, next. San Francisco 49ers, they have activated wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, since Ayuk will be out. And they placed Nick Bosa on the injured reserve list, so he's out long term. We all need that, though. New England Patriots defensive tackle Chris Barner. What's happening with him? Well, basically, he got some injuries going on with the New England Patriots. Okay, all right. They remind me of Edmonton. That's our NFL news. Not much going on in NFL today. Seattle's beating the Cardinals right now. That's the big game going on right now. It's a big NFC West game. The winner of that's going to be having a chance to compete in the NFC West. Seattle's going to be 0-2 in the division, which is a bad way to start the season. Montreal Alouettes, they made some moves today and yesterday. They moved to the single injury list American offensive line Jamar McGlorter, and they added from the single injured list American defensive back Keontae Evans. They moved to the single injured list American wide receiver James Letcher Jr. They moved to the single injured list American quarterback James Morgan. They did activate Davis Alexander though, so they're getting healthy. Alouettes are getting healthy. That's why we go through these lists. It can be a little boring, but they're getting healthy. They moved to the single-game injury list national defensive back Scott Hunter. They added from the single-game injury list national defensive line Cyril Hogan Sandow. Boom, Montreal Alouettes continue. They added from the practice roster American wide receiver Cole Speaker. Okay. BC Lions, they added from the single-game injury list American defensive end Bradley Ane. They signed national long snapper Cameron Foran. They moved to the single injury list national defensive back Christian Bouillou, whatever, Bilou. They moved to from the six-game injury list national linebacker Adam Conan. So, I mean, they're making some moves. Hamilton Ticats moved to the practice roster national defensive back Ronan Horrell, who's been was a draft pick for them this spring. He's been getting some time here and there. He's going to a practice roster. And they moved from the practice roster national linebacker Daniel Kwomu. Okay, Kwomu. So, Ticats are getting ready to try and win this game this week. That's good to see. More Alouettes movements. Alouettes added from the single injury list national defensive back Arthur Hamilton. They added from the single injury list American quarterback Davis Alexander. He's back. They moved to the single injury list American defensive back Robert Kennedy III. They added from the single injury list American defensive back Deontay Ruffin. Okay, so I mean it's pretty diverse what's happening around here in the CFL. Toronto Argonauts, they added from single game injury list American quarterback Nick Arbuckle. He's back, so I guess they'll go with Nick Arbuckle. I think that might turn out pretty well for him actually. So, boom, Winnipeg, they moved to the practice roster. They're gonna play the Hamilton Ticats this week. They're getting pretty healthy, just like Hamilton is. They moved to the practice roster American quarterback Chase Artopius. They moved to the practice roster American defensive lineman Jay Person. They moved to the practice roster National defensive lineman Colin Cornelson. And they added from the practice roster American defensive lineman Jamal Woodley. BC Lions, they moved to the second injury list global linebacker Maxime Royer. They added from the practice roster National offensive line Alex Berwick. They moved to the single injury list American defensive line Dwayne Hendricks, so he's on the injured list. Boom. They added from the practice roster national linebacker Woodley Apollon, and they added from the single injured list American offensive line Jarrell Broxton. Okay. Yeah. Last team to make some moves was Calgary. They moved to the single injury list. National running back Jeshurun Antwi. They moved to the practice roster American defensive back Brady Breeze. They moved to the six-game injury list American running back Justin Hardiman Reed. They released American wide receiver Kalen Horton. They moved to the single injury list American quarterback PJ Walker. They added from the single injury list American quarterback Josh Love. In addition, they moved to the practice roster National Volunteer Redeem Brewer. They moved to the single injury list National defensive back Jackson Sandusky. They added from the practice roster National DB Delani Roberson. And they added from the single injury list American running back Tyler Richardson. Okay, so it's a lot of moves by Calgary as they get ready to load up here. Okay, so why are they making moves? Because they got to play tomorrow night. Okay, let's go into week 17. Here's our betting guide for week 17. Tomorrow night, September 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have the Calgary Stampeders who are 8-5 and crashing right now with a bunch of injuries. Totally crashing. Quarterback injuries. They're having a hard time just getting the team on the field. They're making a lot of signings this week. They traveled to Montreal. Montreal was in the same boat as Calgary a few weeks ago, but they're starting to get healthy again. Does not bode well for Calgary. But here's what I've learned about Calgary this season. Every time I think they're going to get beat, they come back and win the game. And then when I think they're going to win, they lose again. So my initial thoughts are Calgary is getting healthy, or Calgary is really beat up. Montreal's getting healthy. Calgary's going to lose this game, probably by a lot. But then I just can't do it. Every time I've been wrong about Calgary all season long. So my initial thought is Montreal's going to win. But there's no way they're going to win. Calgary goes to Montreal. They win this game against all odds, 27-23. 50 total points being scored. DraftKings does not agree with me. They got Montreal Alouettes at 4.5 point favorite. They got Calgary at 4.5 point underdog, and it's crazy to go with Calgary because they got all these injuries. But I'm crazy, man. Over under 50.5. So I got this game going to Calgary. I would go with them plus the points because you get 4.5 points, so that's a good deal. And I would go under on this one. I think the way Calgary's going to win this game is a grinded out kind of game. If it gets high scored, Montreal's going to win. Okay, I think Calgary will grind this out. They're good at beating the best teams. Friday, September 26th, 10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Argonauts are 5-9. They're traveling to the BC Lions. This is a big game for BC as they try to overtake the third spot in the West Division. Toronto Argonauts are hanging on to very slim playoff hopes. They lose this game, they are most likely out of the playoff run because they'll be overtaken by a West Division team as a crossover with 10 losses. Okay. How do I see this game breaking out? I see this game being a grind, man. Nick Arbuckle's back for the Toronto Argonauts. They won't run the ball well, but they'll throw the ball over the yard. BC Lions are well balanced, but they run a lot through Nathan Rourke. So they got James Butler though. So they got a good running game. I got BC winning this game for sure, 34-30. But I just don't think it's the 64 total points. I just don't think DraftKings understands what's happening here. They have BC as an 8.5 point favorite. That's a lot of points. Okay, it's a lot of points in the CFL, especially for a team like BC that constantly comes up short when they're supposed to, be really good, or sometimes they, surprise people when it's supposed to be really bad. Toronto Argonauts, they got Nick Arbuckle back. They're going to be a grinder. They're going to have a chance in this game. I got BC win this game 34-30, 64 total points. DraftKings has BC as an 8.5 point favorite, which I think is a monstrous line. Toronto Argonauts are 8.5 point underdog. I'm going with Toronto with the points and over under 57.5. Toronto doesn't have to win. They just got to keep it closer than 8.5 points, which is a lot of points. Okay, I got this game going 64 points, which is over. So I'd say it's over, and I'd say Toronto with the points is going to be the best deal. Okay, Saturday, September 27th, 3 p.m. I'll have a full preview article for this after tonight. But Hamilton Tiger-Cats who are 9-5, first place in the East Division, traveling the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 7-7, tied for third in the West Division. This is a playoff game, y'all. Impromptu playoff game, especially for Winnipeg. But for Hamilton, too. They don't want the Argonauts. They don't want the Alouettes to be closing in on their top spot in the East. They need to win this game. This is a game they need to win. Okay? So I have Hamilton coming out. They're going to run the ball with Greg Bell. They're going to throw the ball around. They're going to have Kenny Lawler catch some passes against his old team. Winnipeg's going to come out and start Zach Collaros. I predict he's going to get hit and turn the ball over. And then Chris Strevel will come in. And if the Tiger-Cats are smart, they will tighten down coverage and allow Chris to run the ball and grind the clock out. Brady Oliveira, they have a good power run to end. But if you get a lead, then they don't want to rely on that. You can force them to, and then you'll win the game. So I think Hamilton's going to go on the road and beat Winnipeg 31-26. A huge win for them as they get closer to clinching a playoff spot. They might clinch it if Montreal loses. They might clinch the West Division. That'd be 10-5, 3 games left. Yeah, they might clinch the West Division. Maybe not the East Division. Maybe not this week, but next week for sure. But they got to win the game to do that. I got, like I said, Hamilton winning 31-26 at Princess Auto Stadium. 57 total points being scored. Like DraftKings does not agree with me. They got Winnipeg win this game by 1.5 points. Hamilton is a 1.5 point underdog at over under 51.5. Because we don't agree, it's a good money making time. I would take Hamilton on the money line. They need to win this game. They come up short here. We may not even want to make the playoffs, man. We might just get beat. So they need to win this game. This is a game a playoff team would win, okay? And then I got to go over 51.5 points. Okay, last game for the weekend, Saturday, September 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are 10-3, top team in the CFL right now, traveling to Edmonton Elks, who have been close to being good, but keep falling short in big games. I think Rough Riders have the best offensive line, defensive line, but they have a tendency to not show up all the time on offense. Like Trevor Harris isn't always popping, AJ Ouellette is not always grinding. So, with that in mind, I think Saskatchewan's going to struggle on the road against Edmonton. I think they will beat Edmonton, but they're going to struggle on the road. I have Saskatchewan win this game 28-24, and I have 52 total points being scored. DraftKings agrees. They have Saskatchewan's a 4.5-point favorite, so I'm going money line on that. Edmonton's 4.5-point underdog, which is about where I'm at, and they have over and under 54.5. I said it goes under. Okay, so that's our predictions for the CFL. Week 17. We had some NFL news in there, and we're going to go back and watch Seattle and Arizona play while I write this Handle Tiger Cats pregame article. So have a good night. Remember, check out Last Word on Sports and Buffalo Bills especially. That's my piece. Boop, boop. Check out CFLNewsHub.com. Canadian Football League news all the time, especially about the Handle Tiger Cats. Boop, boop. Okay, next, like the video, boop, and subscribe to the channel. Boop, I'll keep making some videos, and you can keep subscribing. We'll have a great time, okay? So that's the goal, and that's it for Football Scientific Night. We're closing the Football Scientific portal. Bye, 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 bye.